Listen, in the war between the idea of physical media versus digital media, right? Like I'm one of these people that I gave up on physical media well over a decade ago, right? I've been a purely digital guy. And of course, the big boogeyman in the night story that physical media people will tell you, and Christopher Nolan just said this himself, is, well, they're going to come along in the middle of the night and they're going to take away all those movies you bought. You bought all these movies, John, they're there in digital, but at some point they can come along and just take them away. And we know that that's been a possibility, but like I said, I've been buying digital movies for well over a decade. I've never lost one single title, not one. And I can't say the same as when I was a physical media collector, where whether it's through moving, changing addresses, people borrowing things, discs getting scratched, I lost a lot more movies when I was a physical media buyer. But something happened in the last couple of days that makes that, the boogeyman's going to come to get you, seem a little bit more terrifyingly real. As PlayStation owners who have bought Discovery content suddenly found that all of their Discovery content that they purchased, seasons of TV shows or whatnot, poof, gone like a fart in the wind. Disappeared.
He said like Seinfeld.
It disappeared. Like that Rogue Squadron movie we were supposed to get. Just gone. This comes just from the folks at CBR who wrote the following. Sony announced that over 1,000 seasons of Warner's Discovery Channel TV shows will be removed from PlayStation user libraries regardless of whether one paid for them. PlayStation owners were notified that from December 31st onward, access to previously purchased Discovery Channel content would be revoked, and the content would be removed from all video libraries. As of December 31st, it said in their release 2023, due to our content licensing agreements with content providers, you will no longer be able to watch any of your previously purchased Discovery content, and the content will be removed from your video library. Now, the first thing I should probably say is something that a lot of you are thinking. Neither I nor anybody I personally know in all of my lifetime owns any Discovery content. I don't know anybody who bought season 15 of Cake Boss.
Of 90 Day Fiance, baby.
Or 90 Day Fiance. I'm sure they exist. I'm sure those people exist. I'm just saying I don't personally know anybody who has bought season 3 of Flip or Flop. I don't personally know anybody that's owned that. But that's not really the point. The point is that this is a very real, tangible example of, even if you think you dropped $25.99 to buy, season number 2 of Extreme Makeover, you don't own it. And even though you paid to buy it, it could theoretically at some point, maybe, boom, just be taken away, and it could be gone. And today is a day of great prideful justification for all these people who have been, spouting the boogeyman stuff, like Robert Meyer read, that at some point they could come along. Now, we could go into the discussion about the report that came out in Deadline that they estimate that only about 34% of physically bought media ever actually gets played in any Blu-ray player. That's fine, but that's on the side. This is an example of somebody coming along and taking it away. Now, I do want to throw this out there. I came across this option, and maybe you can look it up, Jonathan, but there is a service, I believe, called Play On. Now, I'm a little uncertain about the finer details of the legality of it. I think it is covered. I think it is. Don't take my word for it, though. But there's a service called Play On that basically allows you, if you have streaming content, then you've purchased that for home video use. It allows you to then download a copy of it. So if you are somebody who owns some of this Discovery content, then maybe it's a service you can look in. Again, I believe it. Yeah, there it is. Play On.
Play On Playa.
Go look into that.
Should be called Play On Playa.
Play On Playa. That's the professional version of it.
Yeah.
Then I believe and don't quote me on this, I could be wrong, but I believe from what I've seen preliminarily that I think you're perfectly within your rights to, if you purchase that copy, you can make a copy for yourself to have. That being aside, I just want to throw that out there for any of you who are going to be affected by this, that maybe there are some options out there. So I see a lot of people getting mad at PlayStation. It's not really their fault. It's a licensing agreement. I see some people getting mad at Discovery. I don't think this is a case that either PlayStation, Sony, or Discovery goes, you know what we want to do today? I want to take away people's season 6 of Eyebrow Artist. I want to take that away. No, I think it's just a matter that they couldn't work out their licensing deal.
Do you think it's appropriate for them to, like, let's say if you're browsing through the Discovery section in the PlayStation Store, there's a little thing at the bottom that says you may be able to watch this until this certain date, meaning when their licensing ends, something like that, some headline warning customers, because doing it like this and taking it away will infuriate a lot of people.
Yeah, listen, there are a lot of people like us who make and watch shows like this one that have talked that, technically speaking, you don't own those things. They could be taken away theoretically. But I think the vast majority of the average television viewing public doesn't understand that. Here's what I think the answer to this is. And Rob, I'd be curious to know what you think about this. Because no matter what you do, what kind of safeguards you try to put in place, let's say Apple has a disastrous next 3 years and they just close down, they go out of business. Well, anything you bought on iTunes isn't going to be there. Here's what I think the option is. This is what I think needs to become, and I'll go so far as to say this. I think this needs to be a law. I think there needs to be a law that says, if you sell a movie or season of TV to somebody via digital streaming methods, then whether you are the exhibitor that has a license with the content creators or you are the content creators themselves, if for whatever reason a customer buys a movie or a season of television in reliance on you as a provider and you as a content creator, then I think this needs to be a law. That if for whatever reason your licensing agreement falls apart or your company is about to go bankrupt or whatever, I think there needs to be a law that says if any consumer that bought your content is going to lose access to that content, you have 45 days to make a downloadable digital copy made available to those customers. So if I buy a copy of, I don't know, Cannonball Run off of Vudu or something, and I can just stream it off Vudu anytime I want. There needs to be a law, I think, in place that says, hey, if Walmart decides they're going to close Vudu down, that's fine. You need to give all the customers who bought that movie 45 days notice. Then you have to make available to them a downloadable copy so they can download it and have it on their own personal computer. I think that is a law that makes sense. I think it would give consumers a lot more, I was going to say comfort, but a lot more trust in this system. You put that in place, I think it fixes everything. Because right now, there are some people living somewhere, I suppose, I don't know any of them, that are no longer going to have access to Chef Wars Season 4. They're going to be pretty pissed off today because they dropped $30 to buy the season. Simply make a law that says those people, if you're going to close it down or terminate that licensing deal, you give them the option with certain notice to download a digital copy for themselves. Rob, honestly, that is the only thing I can think of that might alleviate or fix this particular problem, but it's part of the new reality. And despite the fact that this is a real danger, physical media sales continue to decline unless you're Oppenheimer, but everybody's running headlines that Oppenheimer sold out. Yeah, but they didn't tell you that they produced less than 1/4 of the copies that they would have produced 5 years ago. Regardless.
Still sold out, baby.
But still sold out. Still sold out, and it did. We want to take a moment and thank the sponsor of this video, MasterClass. Guys, as a small business owner, I am finding myself having to be in negotiations all the time, whether it's with new contractors, vendors, or even agencies that represent our company. Now, I don't like to go into these negotiations unarmed, so I found the perfect class on MasterClass, The Art of Negotiation by Chris Voss, a real-life former FBI lead hostage negotiator. Taking this class on MasterClass made me feel a lot more equipped and confident going into all these various negotiations I have to do on a regular basis. With MasterClass, you can learn from the best to become your best anytime, anywhere, and at your own pace. An annual membership starts at just $10 a month, and you get unlimited access to every instructor, thousands of online lessons, exclusive content, insight, and much more. There are over 180 classes to pick from, everything from filmmaking with Martin Scorsese all the way to cooking with the great Gordon Ramsay. In MasterClass, you will find practical lessons that you can apply to your life and work. This holiday season, give one annual membership and get one free at masterclass.com/Campea. Right now, you can get 2 memberships for the price of one at masterclass.com/Campea. masterclass.com/Campea. Offer terms apply. Rob, how big of a problem can something like this become, and what could be an option to alleviate the problem that seems to be facing everybody?
Well, I think ultimately the big problem here is you're creating distrust amongst your consumer base.
100%.
And that is money. You want your consumer, especially with games being downloadable and no one owning anything anymore. If you're going to spend $50 for a game or $30 for a season of TV, you want to be assured that your money is going to something that you're actually going to access whenever you want it. So it's not, look, PlayStation doesn't own the content. They're just licensing it out from Discovery. But there's an expectation, I think, that when you are going to a reputable company like PlayStation, that you're going to get something for your dollar. Do you get a refund? Do you get a coupon that allows you free game downloads? Something. But it seems that if they're just going to wash their hands of this, because Discovery is now teamed up with Warner Brothers, it's not fair to the people that put their money down. And I understand that things change, businesses get acquired, but I like your idea, John, that consumers should have an expectation when they spend their money for something virtual, they get something in return or some kind of assurance, because otherwise, why would consumers spend their money on virtual products?
It becomes a real serious issue too. And here's the thing that I think a lot of people got to remember as well. PlayStation is the one, say, we buy the movie from. At least we're on their portal when we buy the movie. But it's not like they get all the money. They get a chunk of it, then a bunch of it has to go off to the creator, in this case, Discovery. So Discovery would have to refund, PlayStation would have to refund, all that kind of stuff. And they're not in the business of refunding. And that's why I think, and it sounds like, Rob, you agree with me on this, simple solution. Say, okay, if you bought our content, you can stream it off our service forever as long as we're around and our agreements are all in place. But if there's ever a problem, we make available to you a downloadable version. I think that fixes 99% of the problem. It helps shore up that trust you were talking about, Rob, that I think you're so accurately pointed out, because this is going to be problematic. This is going to be very, very, very problematic. And
or they should let you go to Discovery's website with like a code so you can access that stuff there.
Oh yeah, just make sure one way or another that you are going to have it made available to you. One way or another, whether you download a copy, we're going to make sure you can now get it on this other service. You have access to all the content you purchased before, but something has to be put into place other than what seems to be Discovery's and PlayStation's solution right now is, oh, well, too bad. That seems to be the only answer consumers are getting right now. Oh, well, too bad.
And it's two different companies that are creating. People are mad at PlayStation and they're mad at Discovery. So, I would think both companies have a vested interest in making sure that their consumer base is taken care of.
Yeah. And again, I'm all for free market and everything, but this is one of those situations where government regulation, I think, needs to step in to protect consumers, because consumers, those ones who, want to watch Cupcake Wars, and they bought their season 17 of Cupcake Wars, They just got ripped off. They paid to buy it, and now it's gone. And this is a situation where government needs to step in and regulate this. Anyway, hopefully there's some answers in this. What do you guys think? Jump on down to some comments section below and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.